Good evening. This is DJ Roob, host of Not So Serious Radio on KKSM Palomar College Radio. And I am so happy to be here tonight in our very happy space. This is the Pacific View Art Center in Encinitas, and we are here for yet another Pacific View session, which is a weekly showcase of artists from the San Diego music scene. And tonight we have episode 6 starring Los Paisanos.
Next one's called Ocean Hills, little bossa nova tune.
Waiting by the seaside, sitting in the hill of seas, counting out the minutes before my time to go home. Rushing through the streets, hesitant to stop. At the mountain top, I'm waiting for the fruit to drop. just intend to stop at the mountain top. I'm waiting for the fruit to drop. When I'm insecure, you become my cure. Take me to a state of mind, in a hill, peace and time.
Los Paisanos in the house for their Pacific View session. Holy buckets, man. That was pretty groovy. Some bossa nova.
Gracias.
A pleasant surprise. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, welcome.
Gracias, gracias. Muchas gracias.
Yeah. So, Los Paisanos, we need to first figure out who's in the band. How about an introduction for everybody, please?
So, muchas gracias. Nosotros somos Los Paisanos. On my left, we got Alfredo Canseco, also known as Freddy. On the bass guitar, we got Miguel Angel, also known as Mickey Zam. On the drums, we got Alberto Alvarez, also known as Berto. On the other guitar, we got Emmanuel Morales, also known as E-Man. And you got myself, Eros Garcia, also known as Rice.
Thank you, Rice. That was quite clear. Now we all feel pretty intimate. And before we get too deep into the conversation, I just want to say thank you again to this band of Paisanos for coming out back in March when we needed to test out this room to see if it was going to work. And you guys showed up on a voluntary basis with the promise of pizza and really helped us figure out how to make things happen here. So thank you so much for that. And
Thank you.
yeah, so when did this current lineup of the band come into play?
I'd say like around October, November is when we hit up Miggy, and we were in need of a bassist. You know, as easy as it sounds, finding a bassist is actually really hard.
Yeah, what did you do, a Craigslist thing?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Really?
Everything. Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah, but we'd get a bunch of like old people hitting us up, and we're like, well.
Nothing wrong with that.
And he was already in a prestigious band called Endo Soul. It's like a North County indie rock type of band, and yeah. Sorry.
All right, but then so that settled maybe 6 months ago or so, and you guys are so tight already just after 6 months. So the origins of the band, though, come really from private parties, right? Up in North County mostly?
Yeah, a little bit. I started the band a little while back, and we started playing house shows at first. And then, you know, when COVID happened, we weren't really playing, but friends and families would hit us up like, hey, would you mind doing like 2 hours or something? We're like, why not? Let's do it.
So you got on the quinceañera circuit?
The quinceañeras, weddings, birthdays, hopefully divorces soon.
So then when did you start playing out at different venues?
I guess when people started hitting us up, and, you know, we did a little outreach here and there. And, you know, we just kept saying yes to a lot of gigs, and eventually word of mouth, a little grassroots movement, you know, people were like, oh, you got to check out this cumbia band. And here we are.
Yeah, and I watched that happen. And you guys are hardworking artists because there's always a gig. You're always playing somewhere, somehow. Probably even some that are unannounced.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the band labels itself as psychedelic cumbia psicodelico. How did you figure out that was the best moniker for the band?
Well, I feel like people always tell me like, "Oh, how do you get your sound?" I don't know if I could demo a little bit or something around here or no.
You want to demonstrate? Yeah.
I know he likes the sound too, but something like this. You know, something psychedelic-y, Latin rock. I'm like, that's kind of our sound.
Yeah.
Right?
And then as far as the cumbia label, though, you definitely embraced that and incorporated it in your own version of cumbia, I suppose. When you listen to cumbia on your own, is there a certain style of cumbia that you like?
You guys want to take this question?
Well, I mean, cumbia usually it's very rhythm based, bass and drums a lot. So usually it's once we get those two figured out. It actually the way we come up with songs is like we figure out a melody, and then it's easy to like once we get that melody down, then we can add the rhythm parts afterwards. Oh, is it right there? We go.
Yeah, much better.
And yeah, like I said, I was saying bass and drums. Once those two get it well together, mesh, whatever melody, we try to fit it in.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's funny because sometimes one of like, the next song that's coming up was not meant to be a cumbia. So you'll see. So
Cumbia
like,
by default.
yeah, so my brother came up with this next song. And I remember specifically telling him like, oh, we should turn it into a cumbia just to see how it sounded. It was just for fun, and it turned out to be like sounding pretty well, so we kept it that way. But that's the next song that's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost a good segue, but I had one more question about cumbia. As far as the different styles of cumbia that are out there in the world, I mean, I know it's kind of got its origins in Colombia, but what would you say, or what's your flavor of cumbia?
So you got like the modern cumbias now that's like whatever the accordion used to play, you got a guitar playing that. But we got both. We got a band where we could have 2 guitars and an accordion. So I do get some inspiration from like bands like, for example, Tropa Mágica or Son Rompepera. You know, they have the old school sound with the old school instruments, and they incorporating it with more a modern sound.
Right.
So I think that's what we're doing too. But we also have like a lot of influence, like with like the old cumbia, Aniceto Molina, Celso Piña,
Los Ángeles Azules.
Los Ángeles Azules. But a lot of my inspiration comes from here, the band.
Yeah.
When I hear these guys play, like that inspires me to play. So they're actually my inspiration.
Wow. Well, that's lovely. Well, on that note, what do you say we
feel the
play a
same.
little-
We feel the same, Rice.
What do you say we get into the song that Freddie was building up here?
Let's do it.
Los Paisanos, Pacific View Sessions.
It's a new single. Check it out.
Con los paisanos. paisanos. Sí, 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 sí. Con este cumbión cumplimos la misión, que sea tradición, amor al corazón. Tarde o temprano, esperando el verano, para gozar con los paisanos. Tarde o temprano, esperando el verano, para gozar con los paisanos.
Gracias.
We're about to speed it up a notch. It's a little femme fatale song. Me robaron. Sí, 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 sí. ¡Opa! Sí, 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 sí.
Mi cuerpo y empiezo a pistear. Voy a las cantinas a ver quién quiere bailar. Me siento ordeno una chela. Me mira una luna a través de mí. Me salta morena con pelo brillante. De pronto voy chica, vamos a bailar. Sí, 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 sí. Tomando toda la noche, nos preocupamos sobre nada. Estaba tan feliz, espérate esa buena. Vimos para atrás a mi cabaña. Y éramos como gatos sin celo. Sentí tan caliente que mi sangre hirvió. Sin ropa o sin cartera, no me recuerdo tanto de ayer. Esa mujer me robó y es cuando aprendí sobre la leyenda. Y hay una mujer con garras y dientes, oye amigos, se llama la Chupacabra. ¡Échale, compa dentro!
Esa fue la Chupacabra. Gracias.
All right. This next one, we hope it comes out sometime in the summer.
¡Échale, primo! Naranja dulce, limón partido, dame un abrazo que yo te pido. Si fueran falsos mis juramentos, en otro tiempo te olvidarán. Toca la marcha, mi cuerpo llora. Adiós señora que ya me voy muy lejos para otra tierra, para olvidar ese loco amor. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sí, 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 sí. ¡Epa! Naranja dulce, limón partido, dame un abrazo que yo te pido. Si fueran falsos mis juramentos, en otro tiempo te olvidarán. Toca la marcha, mi cuerpo llora. Adiós señora que ya me voy muy lejos para otra tierra, para olvidar ese loco amor. La 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 la. La 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 la. ¡Échale, primo! Desde Vista, California, para todo el mundo. Naranja dulce, limón partido, dame un abrazo que yo te pido. Si fueran falsos mis juramentos, en otro tiempo te olvidarán. Toca la marcha, mi cuerpo llora. Adiós señora que ya me voy muy lejos para otra tierra, para olvidar ese loco amor. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Whoa. Los Paisanos, Pacific View Sessions. Wow, that was just amazing to hear that song again. With the energy that's coming off you guys is palpable in this room.
Gracias.
La Chimichanga. Can I be in the band?
Sure, sure.
Just based on that song, I
Yeah.
just want to be in the band. Find something for me to do. So you know, with a song like that, all your songs, they're complicated, not complicated, complex is the better word, and really well put together. Like, what's the songwriting process like for you all?
Well, like I was saying earlier, like for example, the first one, Cumbia del Paisano, that one, my brother came up with the melody, and he's a brilliant guy, so he like
Did he
came
just
up
like
with,
hum it to you?
no, he practices in his room, and then one day he started playing it, and then he's like, oh, this is one song that we should start playing, you know, and like we started playing it a different style, so
Yeah.
it was more like more rock, I'd say more. But then I just had the idea of like, let's turn it into a cumbia.
Yeah.
'Cause I like the melody, how it flowed. So that's how I usually, like it came out about, you know, it's like we come up with little ideas like that, and then we just, you know, work them around, like almost like Legos, you could say, or like, you know, just building
Sure.
freestyle, or you basically like a drawing, you know, you're drawing whatever, and you're just figuring out as you go.
So did these songs just organically happen at the band's practice space, or like as you're just jamming around and somebody hears something they like and you just kind of riff onto that?
Yeah, because for the most part, we like to jam a lot.
Yeah.
So sometimes during practice, we're like, you know, just, you know, improvising, playing whatever, and then we'll just like come up with like a little melody or something that, you know, that just grabs our attention. And then we start working off of that.
Yeah.
And just goes out.
I don't. Do you want to say something? Because we've written some songs with him as well, and maybe he wants to talk about how he writes his songs.
Yeah, let's hear from Miggy.
Yeah, I think it's very organic. This is my first time jamming with these guys. It's been like 6 months now, and I've noticed that that's very different from my other band. Is we go into practice and someone will be playing something, and then everybody just jumps in, and somehow something will come out that's very different. And it's very unique, and it's like we're all looking at each other and smiling at each other, and it's like, wow, this is great. Like, we should make that into a song. And that's literally how it happens. Just someone starts with something, and then everyone jumps in, and it just becomes like its own thing, and it's great.
So, Miggy, the last band you were in was more structured that way, as far as like someone came in with an idea and said, "Hey, let's work through this."
Yeah. So usually, yeah. So that's what I'm used to. Just someone usually has like most of it written, and then we just jump in and add our own parts, or maybe it's already written. But the difference with this band is everyone just kind of like in the moment writes their own part, and then we get it together, and then we just structure it. And this is like an awesome experience. Like my first ever experience practicing with the boys here is basically I was a little late. I was running late, and they were already practicing without me. And I jumped in, and they didn't even stop. And I was like, okay, this is different, right? They kept going, and I'm like, okay. So we kept going, and then we literally jammed for like 10 minutes nonstop. I don't even know what we were playing, but it was like, dude, this is great. And I really liked it. So I'm like, I really like where this is going. So
You made a good choice joining the band.
Yeah, it's been a blessing.
I
love these guys.
Even though you showed up late for their first session. How about let's talk about some of the other bands in San Diego who you like, would like to see, maybe share a bill with. I'd like to hear some of what that is all about.
You got any in mind, or big or like small?
Whatever you think is good quality music that you enjoy to go see live, or maybe play with on a bill.
Sometimes I'll see like flyers like Son Rompe Paz is like playing in San Diego, and I'm like, damn, how do we get a gig there? Or like Tropa Mágica too, we'd love to play for though. Ramona. Trying to think of like other artists that are local that would be like, dude, if we could jump in a spot there, it'd be perfect.
La Diabla too.
La Diabla.
We actually did play with them at Soda Bar. Remember?
Yeah, we opened.
La Chicha.
We opened that for them. Also, a bachata surf.
Oh,
Bachata surf's really fun.
Yeah, Bachata Surf,
Yeah.
you guys recommended to me, and I listened. It's really good.
Yeah, no,
and
they're
I
played
played one of their tracks on my show last week.
Nice. Berto, do you have any that you want to share with? Perhaps.
They also have another side project too, Bachata surf, the Embalmers, but it's more like punk rock. And that one's really good too. I like that
Wanna
one.
jump
Wait, hold on. Berto's having.
As far as any bands, Tito Puente for me, as far as percussion, drums and percussion, because I'm covering rhythm and lead over here, and I have to put a fill while I'm covering the bass as the rhythm the whole time. So it's really complicated stuff that I'm doing, but I just blend it all together. I as a fusion drummer too, as a session drummer, and as a drum teacher too, I just fuse everything together, and that's what this sound comes up with. Because even if people have never heard of cumbia ever, they'll move to it, they'll dance to it, because it's just really groovy. And as far as technical stuff, I would explain a lot more with it, but it's just people won't understand because it's drum vocabulary and stuff. Yeah, they'll be like, "What is he talking about?" But
I believe he told us that he started playing with his dad too. Like his dad told him, like, "Oh, you got to play cumbias on drums." Or
well, my parents grew up in Mexican families,
like
so
most Mexicans.
just cumbias and it's pretty much muscle memory for me. Even if I haven't played it ever, I know the song. So if we want to cover those songs, I already know them. As growing up listening to them, like years and years, just growing up listening to it.
So cumbia's in your DNA. All right, that's quite nice. All right, got any more songs?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, what's coming up next, Los Paisanos?
This next song se llama Las Escamas de Pescado.
que no con cualquiera. Tengo en mi mente y me siento diferente. Ya no hay salvación, ya no hay solución para la adicción.
Thank you everybody for being here and watching at home. We are Los Paisanos here live at the Pacific View Center.
Okay, let's keep on going. Let's keep...
Watch out for your ears. Your discretion is advised.
Protocol that has engulfed myself deep in trance. Wishing the sun rays burns me no more for the sins I've committed. Each passing cloud, I hide behind it for its shade. Heaviness my soul, but restless no more. Go and let it go, my dreams have come true. Everything comes around, it's time to say farewell. Thoughts, slowly taking over the last remnants of purity, I trance into the other world. Images that I recognize surround my deathbed. The ancestors of this land laughed at my disgrace. Ha 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 ha. This life that we're living has no room for me and you. brought to this life a lot of ways of living. And as the feathers fall to the sky, and cook my voice with pain and deceit. May the ashes cover my soul and haunt it for eternity. With the pleasures in your dome, hot place that you return, no ways to fly away. México, arriba la República Mexicana. Saludos a los zapotecos, saludos a los mixtecos, saludos a las olmecas y saludos a Aztlán. My dreams have come true. This life that we live in has room for me and you. Saludos. Yeah.
Whoa. Los Paisanos Pacific View Sessions. That's a way to finish strong.